Hi, I'm Martin. I want to share with you my technique for tapping maple trees. I've been noticing on some of the wild edible groups that I belong to on the internet that there's a lot of different techniques being posted on good ways to tap maple trees. I learned my technique about 30 years ago from some friends, John Avery and Patrick Byers, when I worked at the Missouri State Fruit Experiment Station. And it's a technique that keeps the sap very clean. It's easy to do. Basically, we use a PVC threaded nipple like this that we buy at the hardware store. I use a bracing bit, but you could use a power drill also. That's the exact same size as this nipple. I bore a hole in the tree, thread the nipple in, and then I also take this same bore, and we save our plastic milk containers and our water containers. We clean them out real good, and then we'll bore a hole right into the top of this and slip this right over the nipple, and it keeps the sap perfectly clean. Ants and bugs and gnats don't get in there. It keeps most of the bark out, and then we can just turn this thing upside down on the little nipple into a bucket that we go around and collect with. So it's a good technique, and I want to show you how it's done. Tapping the maple trees is really easy to do, and you just got to have some good maple trees. There are other species of trees that you can tap. I like to tap the maple trees. I don't like tapping walnut trees because of the value of the wood, and basically if it's a veneer tree, you're going to destroy the wood by boring holes in the side of it. So approximately at waist level, I'll find a good spot on the tree. And this is on the southwest side of the tree, which seems to be the best. We're up on a high hill that gets a lot of cold air, and on the southwest side it seems like that thaws the best when the temperatures get too cold. And right now our temperatures are not the greatest for maple syrup flowing. You need temperatures that are right around and just below the freezing mark at night, and then between freezing and 50 degrees during the day. Once it gets above 50 degrees, the sap seems to stop its flow. So I can see there's plenty of sap coming out here right now. I'm going to install this PVC nipple, and you can see it just threads right into that hole. And I don't lose any sap. Every bit of it goes into that bucket. I'm not messing around with a lot of long hoses that are hard to clean and get bacteria in them. I can clean these jugs or totally replace them, which is what I'm doing this evening. This is actually a re-tap that I'm doing because we had some of our taps quit flowing. Sometimes that happens when you got to open up a new tap, a new hole in the tree. They'll heal up or they will clog up. So I just basically turn that. And then I finish cutting the hole with a knife. You can see that it got a good start on its perfectly round hole. And I take a clean knife and I just finish it. And there you go. There's that. And look at here. We already got sap coming out. It's not flowing real strong right at the moment. Let me put this piece of trash in my pocket. Oh yeah. And that's about 3% sugar on there. It tastes like sugar water. It's kind of fun to taste it when we first tap trees every spring, or every late winter rather. The flow starts around here in southern Missouri about middle of January, and if the temperature stays right, it'll flow for us all the way into March. Sometimes I've tapped as early as late December, and sometimes the temperatures are just no good and you just don't get a lot of sap. So every year is different. Takes about 30 gallons of sap to boil down to make 1 gallon of syrup. We usually go by buckets full. A 5-gallon bucket will make about a pint for us. I like it on the thin side. It makes it go further, and I've noticed that the flavor profile of thinner syrup is just as good as the thicker syrup. You know, I don't need to have it like molasses. And anyway, it makes more volume for you because it takes a while to boil down a 5-gallon bucket full. We collect the sap, and we'll go to take it to our home, and we will take another clean bucket, or actually our stainless steel pots that we boil in. We'll place a flour sack, a very clean, brand new flour sack cloth over the top. We pour the sap through it to strain out any bark, and if any bugs do get in it, like ants like to crawl up here, and sometimes we'll get into the bucket or to the jug, and we'll pour it through there and strain it, and the sap is crystal clear. It looks like as clear as water that comes out of your tap. It's nice and clean, and then we start to boil that down. We cook it most of the way outside on our fish cooker, and then when it gets down to a level that's getting close to being done, for a 5-gallon bucket, I'd say when it gets down to about 2 quarts, 3 quarts, we'll bring it in and we'll finish it in a small saucepan on the stove. And so after that, then we will hot water bath some canning jars, and we'll pour it up into the canning jars and can it. And it's a great little technique. You can hear it dripping in here. I don't know if you can get the camera close enough to pick up that sound, but it's a sweet sound to me in the wintertime.